All right, so Sancho 3, the first thing is don't fetishize the form. You want to, instead, you want to connect the form to the truth and to the way. Don't reverse that. There's been a lot of crazy stuff with Chiba Sensei's weapons, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. And there's like a big telephone game, like, this person showed it to that person, so there's lots of variation. And that is complicated by the fact that Sensei a lot of this stuff was works in progress. So if you were introduced to it at one point in its development, you learned one way, and if you were introduced to it later in its development, you learned another way, okay? So more reason not to go, this is what I was shown, this is what the form is. Keep it a living form. All right, so the set revolves around Bokken versus Joe. And so there's certain fighting principles because there's a physical component to everything we're training in. And then there are certain energetic components, and those things help us develop the spiritual components. So the physical components are, some of the things you're going to do is take advantage of how much faster the sword is to the Joe if you're in a particular Mai. So you're trying to get into that Mai and then capitalize upon another advantage that the sword has over the Joe, and that is that it is a blade and not a stick, okay? So you'll follow a lot of the fighting principles related to blade. For example, there's a lot of defanging the snake in Sancho 3, and that's what you're trying to do. If this person is going to stick his hand in the middle of the fight, which he has to do to wield his longer weapon, then I'm going to cut his hand off. That is defanging the snake, okay? That will require less penetration of me, which is one of the advantages that the Joe has over, is the Joe can penetrate, but at a distance, all right? But there is a limit to how you play this Mai. So there's a particular Mai that this works, and if you close too much, then the reverse side of the Joe becomes relevant and is quite potent as well. So a lot of the set is, where do I hang out so I can defang the snake? And then the Joe side, a lot of the set is, how do I not get defanged and bring this person into my range of what I need to do, okay? And when it does that, the way to take away the blade advantage over the stick advantage is what you always do, is you're gonna cut off all cuts at its source. That's what you're going to do, okay? Generally speaking. So here we go with the first set. My son does not know the set, so I'll be teaching him as we're reviewing it for those who do know it, okay? You don't start at any kind of Seigan because you gotta obey that rule that he has what's ideal for him. So stand where you would be ideal with your Joe if you were gonna ski me, okay? About that distance, right? Well, I don't wanna stand here because that advantage goes to him. So I'm kind of out further, right? And what I want to try to do, because I have the shorter bladed weapon, is I want him to stick his weapon in the middle of the fight so that I can clip his arm off, okay? And in real fencing, if you clip this part off, the fight is over, okay? So that is a very realistic strategy. So let's scoot a little this way. Okay, so first thing is, where's that Mai where I'm not in Joe advantage range, okay? So for example, if we were doing like some weird Seigan, put your Joe out in the middle, you see? No, but hold it like you were gonna fight with it. No, please hold it normally. Please hold the Joe normally. Stay there. But stick the weapon out here. Do you guys see this? And you were here. Because the length of his weapon, he has greater advantage here. So we're not in any kind of Seigan, and we're not in Joe advantage. We're outside of Joe advantage when we line up here, okay? And I have my blade with no opening, and he has his weapon guarding his center line with no opening, ready to go. Okay, no one can hit each other. So that's the first thing. So scoot back. So the first thing is you set up that dilemma where we're here. This is too close, and obviously this would not set up any motivation in him to strike so that I could counter. He would move forward. So this isn't it either. So we do it again, out, and you come up, and you learn where I'm just out of Joe range, okay? All right, let's try that. Go. All right, so I want to give you a metric on where is that space. Eventually, as you train with intensity, as we've shown you, there's an intensive variation of Kihon, which does not use the embryonic timings, okay? So eventually you'll learn where that is because this guy keeps spearing the hell out of you, right? So you're not in, stay there please. You're not in normal Seidan, which you might think between the two Joes, because my weapon is shorter, so I don't want to give that advantage, okay? So if you were to do normal ski, and you would see that easily I'm in his advantage range, okay? So we scoot back. And so when you get to that position, you don't want to be way out here because you do not generate the intensity, which is going to generate his movement, which is going to allow me to counter his movement, which is how you rock a shorter weapon. For me out here, there's no charge there that would motivate him, and I'll get there in a second. So I want to be in a place where if he does a normal ski, go ahead, I'm just right outside of it. Do you see that? That is where I want to be, okay? So he's not going to penetrate me from there without violation form, but there's no energy in that. So there's his good ski, and that's where I want to be, and I want to know that intuitively. And eventually, as I've trained a lot of people, they're kind of like way here, and then they're like here. This is not the same. This is where you want to be without him having thrown the Joe, okay? So that is where, go back now, that is where this form begins from there, okay? All right, let's try it again. Okay, generally, if you're going to watch this and you're going to want to refine your form, the most common mistake I see is that the Mai is always too short. It's always too close, okay? It comes from, we just fetishize the form and we just touch sticks, but the Mai is wrong, okay? So people are too close. So what I'm trying to do in the form with this beginning Mai is ultimately bait this guy, all right? But let's look at it tactically a little bit. His weapon has to attack from the bottom up. It cannot attack from the top down because of how he's using it defensively right now. So there's two things that you can do here. Is one, you can go from Chudan to Jodan, because if he's going to attack, it's going to come from the bottom. Do you guys see that? So he could, let's move around from that ceiling. He could spin it around, in other words. Spin around yourself, just go around, it's fine. But me, you want to hit. Do you get it? So it's going around. Come on, just bring it around. I don't give a crap how. Do you see that? He could, then it came from the top down, but he's given major opening as he goes there. Okay, so no, not true. If he wants to attack, for example, ski, the tip came from the bottom upward. Do you guys see that? Okay. So to do that, if you're here in your little stalemate, you could go, dude, I know he's got to come from the top, from the bottom, so I can take Jodan, and my counter is going to be that much more effective because I can hit him as he's coming up. Okay? Or your reasoning for this is going to be that he's going to fill the yin space. So as my weapon goes up, he fills that space. Okay? So we'll demonstrate that now. So it's very subtle because both happen. So I'll talk us through it. Again, my son does not know the form. Okay, so he's in Chudan level, and he's just out of my ski range, okay? My weapon has to attack from the bottom. He notices that, so he's going to go to Jodan. Got it? Okay. But I'm going to counter his seeking of advantage by following his weapon in. Don't move. Don't worry. Okay? And now I'm going to occupy the center line. This movement that you're doing here, you do it all the time in Shomenuchi. So for example, look at our Shomenuchi Ikkyo videos. The hand goes up and we catch their weapon on the way up. We don't wait for it to come down, okay? So if I stay here, he goes up, I just lost all advantage. I've lost all advantage because my weapon has to come from there. I would probably move out and try dancing around this kind of thing because I lost all advantage. So that's what he is trying to do. Gain advantage, go back, and my first counter is as he tries to gain advantage, I fill that advantage up. Do you see? Because I'm working with him and I now dominate the center line. His face should be out of range if we had the right mind. Okay, but I still want the center line. So again, we're here, and as he goes up, I come in and attack the center line. Now his sword has to come down somewhere to attack, right? And do Shomenuchi. And here's, go, just slow, just go. There you go, cool, let's do it again. But I now have control of his hands, boom, like we always do, okay? So again, first move, Chudan, point it up. Nope. Pointing at the throat, okay? Up more at the throat. So again, the first thing, set up the proper mind. He goes, all right, let me seek advantage by going to Jodan, and I regain advantage by controlling the center line, okay? It's up here like that. So again, making this incorrect. Go. Wrong. Too late. Or he goes up. Wrong. There's no advantage there. That's exactly what he wanted. Do you get it? He'd just come down and smash it. So again, as he goes up, he pulls me in, boom, and right as his fist, lower it, reverse the action, reverse it, right as his fist passes his head, boom, my weapon is there. That's the right timing. Okay, so I have to be able to read his body. He goes, boom. And I'm in like that, okay? That is the first move. Go. It seems like a small thing, but that first mai, establishing that is huge, okay? Just like, because it's knife fighting, and mai is everything, okay? You live or die by whether you follow mai or you violate mai, okay? So, it shouldn't be a strike. It's not a strike. If he could strike me because I was too close, so for example, we're here, do you get it? And I go like this, and he does that move, and he hit me in the face, put your hand where it goes, okay? I was too close. He didn't need to wait for an opening. He could just, Makia touch my hand, boom, and then ski, like we always do. Do you got it? We'll do it again because I want you to figure it out. Boom, and in. Do you get it? So I was out of range. All he's doing is retaking the advantage by taking and holding the center line. If you look at it, we're back in Joe range. Do you see? That's what he was able to do because he's at the tip of his weapon and he has the advantage because I can't reach him and he can reach me. So he has the advantage, okay? But as he's in that last position, get in that position where you retake the center line, it's got to be legit. So a lot of people want to make it a strike and they throw this stuff out there like that. Do you see? They're trying to get extra range on the face, okay? In real fighting, then I just grab the damn thing. And now, thank you, back, okay? So your weapon has to be under your control. You cannot sit there and poke that out, because in real fighting, and it should be real fighting, you have the right my so that I don't use my personal weapons. Do you guys get that? You have to have that my in the set so that I don't side kick you or roundhouse kick you or grapple you. That you have to stay in the weapon range, okay? And that means you have to be organized for that kind of stuff. So let's trade roles here. You can put that down. Just put it down. And so when I'm in this position here, and he goes to grab the weapon, he should feel my weight, do you see? And you have all of your jodori, so that means you have all of your Aiki adhesions that you can do and your koku projections. And none of that is out here like this, okay? None of it is here either. So when I'm here like this, and he just don't hurt me, but just push it backwards, do you see? And I'm going to lose control of it. So here, if he pushes on it, he just hits my grounding vectors, do you see? And with those grounding vectors, that's where I can project him out. So I don't know if you caught the uke, but so people can see that. If I'm over here, there's no structural integrity to it, and if he just grabs it and shoves it down, now I'm in trouble. But if I'm here like this, and he grabs it, and he tries to push, I'm ground vectoring, which of course I can project out. And you can get your distance again, which is your advantage here. Okay? And we'll stop there. Those seem like simple moves, but I'm telling you, everyone I've seen gets them wrong. Okay? And they set everything else up. And the only reason it appears to work is people stop fighting and they just started touching sticks. So we'll stop with those two moves. First move is establish the generating tension mai, which I gave you a metric. You should be just out of ski range, okay? And then seek advantage, and then counter the seeking of advantage by regaining the center line. So it's really three things you're working on there.